You've asked a lot of questions to the people that you're now in charge of. Is there anything you can tell us that you don't like about the way things are being run right now?
Well, I mean, I think I'm no different than the people that are there. You know, we've all been disappointed in the results. Now, having said that, it's not like we've gotten blown out of a lot of games or that the effort hasn't been good or you don't see good young talent on the field. I think you see all that. And it was certainly very encouraging to see how we responded versus Cincinnati. I mean, you know, Brandon gets a pass tipped, they hit a big touchdown, Trent gets hurt, and, you know, I think our guys showed a lot of character by coming back and not just winning, but winning convincingly against a team that we lost to, 3 weeks before. And, you know, we've got good young talent. You all know that.
How much of those intangibles that you've mentioned right now and then at the podium, how much does that factor into the decisions going forward, the realization of what the situation actually is?
Well, they'll come into play. I think culture in any organization is important, whether it's your family or your school or a business or a team, and we want to have the right culture at Cleveland. And I'll be honest, we want to establish a winning culture, and the expectations are to win. And part of the problem, I think, a young team that hasn't won much is understanding how to win, and that's what was so pleasing on Sunday is, you know, despite adversity, terrible win, best running back gets hurt, we hung in there tough, and I think our guys grew up a little bit that day. You know, Brandon twisted his foot or his ankle and came back and completed 8 or 9 passes after that, and that's part of being an NFL quarterback, and I think that's how you gain the respect of, first of all, your teammates and then the fans.
What 1 or 2 things did Joe say to you that convinced you that he's the guy?
Yeah, there's not one. The first time I met him, you know, I like people who are smart, intense, focused, and work hard, and that sums up Joe Banner in a word. You know, there's no BS. He comes to work every day, and Joe's firmly committed to building the Cleveland Browns like we are, and I look forward to working with Joe and others. He's not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. It's going to be a collective team effort to, like I said, give the fans of Cleveland and Northeast Ohio the team they deserve. A lot of you all were there Sunday, and walking out of the stadium was remarkable to me. I turned to my wife. I said, I feel like I'm in Pittsburgh. We just won the AFC Championship. I mean, everybody was so exciting. And, you know, we want to create that kind of environment. And it's not easy. Let's face it, this is not easy.
Was too much made of the remark when you answered a question to City Council about actually putting a dome on the stadium? Or
Well, I'm going to be respectful to City Council, and I think what I've said is, listen, we're going to look at all options, and what I've learned is, in the NFL, you better be really careful when you say something like that. Is a dome a possibility? Yes, and I'm not smart enough to tell you if it's 2% or 50%, so we'll investigate and see. We do want to do this. We do want to have more activities at the stadium. I think it's good for the city, the county, the state, and it's good for the Browns brand.
A lot of people are asking, as you look at these stadium improvements, first question is asked, who pays for them? Can you maybe comment on what your initial thoughts are as you're going through
And I think it would be premature because I don't have a clue, and I can look all of y'all in the eye and say that, how much money we're going to spend. But one of the first things we're going to do is, and I've said this numerous times, have the quality architects around the country that specialize in this kind of work come in and take a look at things. And we need to have some enhancements for the fans. And when I was with the Steelers and when I would go to another stadium, I didn't really pay attention to, is it fan friendly or is it not? And now I pay close attention, and I think there's some things that need to happen over the next 1, 2, 3, 4 years.
What makes it? What kind of things need to happen to make it more fan friendly?
You know, I think it's up for debate. I mean, I think you've got to look at your scoreboards. I think you've got to look at probably putting ribbons around the stadium. You know, and some of it doesn't cost money. Some of it's maybe better music and establishing traditions. You know, that certain music and certain plays are shown at a certain time. And let's face it, the best thing is have a good team.
You knew about the fans' passion because you've been with the Steelers, so you knew that. What have you learned just
Tony,
being around?
I knew about it, but I will tell you, it's been overwhelming. I mean, I was downtown, and, you know, we've been going to meet lots of different people in the community, and I was walking into a downtown office building dressed just like this, nobody around me, and walked in, and there was a 70-year-old security guy who couldn't have been this tall, and he looked at me, and I was getting ready to say good morning, and he says, Jimmy, when are we going to win? And so just the passion that everybody has. I was in Las Vegas at an American Trucking Association meeting and was getting on our plane, and the guy was fueling the plane. He goes, hey, Jimmy, how you doing? And I thought, how about that guy? And I walked up and introduced myself, and I said, I'm Jimmy Haslam. He goes, I know, I'm from Cleveland. So just the passion that everybody has for the fans, which you all know because you've been around a lot longer than I have, is phenomenal.
One of the things over the last 10 years, there's been a tremendous amount of instability, upheaval, regime changes, coaching changes, and that. How sensitive, as you go through these evaluations, how sensitive to that are you? Because this is only year 3 of the current plan, if
Sure.
you will.
Well, let me say, and I think I've said this before, if you study our top management at Pilot Flying J, I think my 5 direct reports, my 3 key ones who have worked the longest are 27 years, 21 years, and 15 years. So we believe in longevity, and the people that have worked with us, we have a tremendous amount of people who've worked for us for a long period of time. Having said that, you got to get it right, okay? And we just got to make sure we get the right people in there, and that's at every. That's not just, that's from everything that who answers the phone to who plays quarterback. I mean, you want the right people on your team that believe in what you believe in.
A lot of the owners that you've been spending time with have nice Lombardi trophies in their lobbies and things like that. Can you just talk about your commitment to bringing a Super Bowl to Cleveland and ending the
Yeah, I mean, listen, we all want that, okay? We all want that. Now, having said that, it's not easy. There's 31 other people here who are smart, capable people who are trying to do the same thing, but I'll be highly disappointed if over the years we're not a consistently good team. And if you're consistently in there, sooner or later you're going to win one. Now, we've got a long way to go. I mean, you've been around, you know the record better than I do, but that's what we're going to strive for. That's the goal.
Just to clarify on Banner's role, do you see him more as the business leader outside of?
Yeah, I think Joe will be involved in all.
I
think Joe will be involved in all different parts of the organization, and a lot of that's TBD, right? I mean, he'll come in, and Joe's smart. He's been involved before. He's got great experience with the Eagles, and we'll figure that out over the next coming weeks and months.
Do you see him involved in football decisions, personnel, that kind of thing?
Well, it depends on how deep you go, but yeah, Joe's the CEO of the organization, and generally that means you're going to be involved in all phases of the operation.